Always be caring. In our ABC series, we have the pleasure of presenting Dr. Padma Kolikar, who is a practicing neuropsychiatrist based in Kolkata, attached to NNC, PLS Hospital, as visiting consultant and a number of private chambers. Padma Koli is a mind healer, a truth seeker, a solivagant, an avid traveler dabbling in poetry and prose in her spare time. In the Always Be Caring series, we present Dr. Padma Kolikar.
Hello everybody. Today our topic of discussion are two neurological disorders, Parkinson's disease and dementia, which are essentially due to neurodegenerative processes affecting the brain, but they come accompanied with a plethora of psychological symptoms and behavioral manifestations, and hence they need a comprehensive treatment approach comprising a team of a psychiatrist, a neurologist, and a psychologist. Now, first, I'll discuss about dementia. In dementia, psychological symptoms and behavioral manifestations are very common and prominent. And the symptoms may be of different types, and about 30 to 90% of patients suffering from dementia suffer from behavioral and psychological symptoms. The different types of symptoms include depression, apathy, agitation, aggression, psychosis, disinhibition, as well as sleep disturbances. There might be a reversal of the sleep cycle, the patients becoming more drowsy and sleepy during the daytime, while at night remaining wide awake and becoming more active. Now, coming to the pathogenesis of these psychological symptoms. There is a complex interaction between the psychological symptoms, the cognitive deficits, as well as the behavioral symptoms. And usually the neurodegenerative process which affects the different areas of the brain, particularly the frontotemporal cortex and the limbic area. The frontotemporal cortex is the front region of the brain, and this particularly leads to dysfunction in the neuronal circuits, that is the different neurotransmitters like the cholinergic, adrenergic, and serotonergic neurotransmitters are affected, and this leads to the in turn comprises the biological matrix of the behavioral symptoms. Now, the pre-morbid personality of the patient as well as the psychological symptoms or factors, they play a modifying role. Now, coming to the types of dementia. So, as mentioned in the slide, the types of dementia are dementia of the Alzheimer's type, mixed type of dementia, vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, then alcoholic dementia, frontotemporal dementia, etc., etc. But the most common type of dementia that affects the elderly population is Alzheimer's type of dementia. It affects around 15 million people worldwide, and there are different types of psychological manifestations seen during the course of this disease. According to research, the psychological symptoms might vary according to the type of dementia and also the stage of dementia. For example, in vascular dementia, depression and anxiety are more common compared to Alzheimer's disease, where psychosis and symptoms of hallucination and delusion seem to be more common. And in types, these are the types. There is a difference between the two types. We see where the psychological symptoms are different, as well as when we are talking about the stages. In the early stages of dementia, depression and anxiety are more common, while in the more advanced stages, psychosis, hallucination, delusion, these symptoms become more prominent. But as dementia advances to a very severe stage, then the behavioral symptoms become less prominent as the cognitive deficits become more prominent. And coming to the particular type of dementia that I have mentioned, Alzheimer's type. In Alzheimer's type of dementia, patients may exhibit verbal aggression, physical aggression, psychosis, delusions, hallucinations, quitting, and agitation, and even urinary incontinence and aimless wandering away from the house. Now, in Alzheimer's dementia, particularly when the patient becomes violent and tries to wander away from the house, it becomes very problematic for the caregiver to take care of the patient and to keep an eye on the patient 24/7, and thus it may necessitate early hospitalization. Hence, early intervention is very, very essential in cases of dementia because it helps to reduce the burden on the caregivers as well as it helps to improve the overall functioning of the patient. Now, the approaches to treat the behavioral symptoms of dementia can be of two types. That is, the pharmacological approaches and the non-pharmacological strategies. The pharmacological approaches include the different psychotropic medications like antidepressants to treat the symptoms of depression, then anxiolytics to treat the symptoms of anxiety, antipsychotics for treatment of psychosis. The non-pharmacological strategies mainly stimulation-oriented psychotherapy, various social therapies to improve social skills, and also other therapies like art therapy, music therapy, and dance therapy. And a regular exercise regimen for the patient helps to improve the patient's overall function. And apart from this, the psychoeducational approach, where education is given to the patient's family members and caregivers, it really helps to reduce the burden on the caregivers, prevents burnout, which frequently happens in caregivers of dementia patients, and also helps to enhance the quality of life of both the patient as well as the family member. Now, coming to Parkinson's disease, this is another complex neurological disorder where the main manifestations are motor symptoms like tremor, rigidity, postural instability, and bradykinesia, that's slowness. But apart from the motor symptoms, behavioral symptoms and psychological manifestations are also very common in Parkinson's disease. About half of the patients who suffer from Parkinson's disease, they tend to experience psychological symptoms at some point in the course of their disorder. And coming to the other symptoms of that is seen in PD patients, apart from depression and psychosis, anxiety symptoms can also be observed in such patients. In about a third of PD patients, cognitive deficits become prominent, and in the later stages, even the patient may develop symptoms of dementia. Now, about 40% of patients with this Parkinson's disease seem to suffer from depression, and in many cases, this depression might be overlooked. Apart from depression, the other disorders, behavioral changes that are seen in such patients include the anxiety disorders, which may be generalized anxiety, then phobias, social phobia, then panic attacks, and even obsessive compulsive symptoms. Psychosis is also very common in PD patients, and the medicines that are used to treat PD, that is to improve the motor symptoms of the patient, like levodopa and the anticholinergics, they sometimes contribute to the development of the psychiatric symptoms. And as I have earlier said, that apart from psychosis, where hallucination is a most commonly observed symptom, delusions may also appear in patients with PD. In case of hallucination, visual hallucination is the most common symptom, and patients experience vivid visual hallucinations where they may visualize objects, people, or animals, which when they try to touch just disappear. And delusions like there's a suspiciousness and accusatory behavior might also develop in PD patients. And risk factors for development of psychosis in PD patients include an advanced stage of the disorder, advanced age of the patient, presence of cognitive deficits, as well as a presence of depression. Now, in case of PD, also early intervention to treat the psychological and the behavioral manifestations of PD are very important, because this helps to enhance the quality of life of the patient, and also it improves the overall functioning of the patient. Now, the treatment strategies that are available for treating the behavioral manifestations of PD include the medicines or the psychotropics, that is the pharmacological strategy, where we use different medicines like antidepressants, anxiolytics, and antipsychotics to treat the symptoms of Parkinson's, the behavioral symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Now, one thing has to be kept in mind: the antipsychotics, which are used to treat the behavioral symptoms of PD, might aggravate the motor symptoms, while on the other hand, the medicines which are used to treat the motor symptoms, they might aggravate the psychological symptoms. So the treatment of PD is very challenging, and it's very tricky, where we have to maintain a fine balance between the medicines, and we have to use the agent at the lowest dose possible to cause minimal side effects. And apart from the pharmacological strategy, the non-pharmacological approaches include psychotherapy, improvement of social skills through social therapies, and also imparting education to the patient as well as the family members. Because the caregivers usually become very frustrated with the lack of motivation seen on the part of the patients and their failure to follow instructions. So, educating the caregivers about the course of the disease and the different behavioral manifestations that might be observed in Parkinsonism helps them to understand the disease better, and also helps the patient and the family member to cope with the disease better, thus enhancing their quality of life. Thank you.